Hello, everyone. Hi, you guys. Can you let me know how the sound is? How is my sound? Just making sure you guys can hear me. Hi, Ashley. It's good to see you. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Patrick from Belgium. Sound is good. Okay. All right. Another Untangled episode 9. It's good to be here with you guys. It's really good to be here with you guys. I am still in Florida. I am leaving Friday to go home. Been here for a couple weeks. We made it. Good to see you, Wes. Good to see you. How are you guys feeling? Kind of wanted to tap in with you guys a little bit and see how all of you guys are feeling today. You're in Florida. I'm loving Florida. Hard to leave. Hard to leave the beach. Hard to leave the warm weather. Hi, Laura from Spain. Yeah, I'm feeling like this always happens to me every single time I do an Untangled episode. I get really introverted, quiet, introspective, melancholy, like all kinds of really interesting emotions come up every single freaking time I do an Untangled episode. It's so interesting. I'm feeling overwhelmed, feeling tired, happy to finally watch and listen live. Hello, Ellie. That you're here. Was suicidal yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot. Feeling like being alone. It's interesting. I've been noticing um, really powerful kind of I wouldn't call it mood swings, but I mean, I guess that's the way that like the programmed matrix would call it, right? Like I feel like there's a lot of like I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down a lot, right? Really powerful highs and lows right now. I wouldn't say super low. It's just sort of like really extroverted and then extremely introverted and then extroverted and then introverted and just watching myself move through it without an attachment or a judgment to it, but just like, wow, I'm extroverted and I'm being social, and then 15 minutes later, it's like I just want to go and be alone and be quiet and go inward. And um, yeah, it's been an interesting ride the last couple of weeks for sure. I don't know if you guys have been feeling this, but I've been feeling more and more like I cannot deny the energetics of how I am experiencing people. And it's really challenging because the more that I um, live through this energetic lens, um, so I've spoken about this before, but we're energy, and everybody else is energy, and everything is energy. Animals, insects, everything's energy. And because we can't see how energy works, we don't realize that there is this constant um, movement of energy between this person and this person. So here's you and here's another person, right? There is always interaction of energies doing this, always. And that gives you the experience of the interaction. You feel happy or sad or weird or uncomfortable. You feel like you want to pull away. You feel like you want to argue. Right? There's all these things that are happening in between you and someone else. What happens, I think, when we become more energetic, at least what I'm experiencing, is there's this dissonance because you're hanging out with people and you're starting to just be the energy of it. So you're trusting truly just the energy of what is being shown to you. So you're feeling what it feels like. That's the truest expression of a friendship, a relationship, a partnership, being with anybody, a stranger. The truest expression of it is not in your head. The truest expression of it is not in your mind. The truest expression of it is not in the programs of, oh, this is a famous person, or oh, this is a homeless person, or and so you have these programmed ways of being based on the box you're going to fit people in. You start to actually move into more of an energetic space where it's truly just the experience that you're feeling with that person. And then what happens is you can't deny it. And then you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Or, oh, I really want to keep hanging out with this person. Or, oh my God, I want to. share this with this person because this is what I'm thinking and feeling around them, right? And it's like, but this isn't how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to feel like this, and we're supposed to feel like this, and it should. And so there's this really wonky kind of like realignment with relationships when you become more energetic. It's this dropping deeper down into the body. It's this embodiment of energy. It's this embodiment of the feeling experience. And so you have to start to let go of the attachments or the expectations of how you think you should be with this person, right? Or how you think you should be in this friendship or in this partner or any of it. You have to let that go. And it's really challenging because you'll judge yourself, right? This is what I've been experiencing the last couple of weeks. It's I've been experiencing it for a long time, but it's gotten really powerful the last couple of weeks of truly allowing the simple energies of how I feel around someone to be the truest expression of that back and forth, and not denying it, right? And not pretending and not trying to fix it. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and he and I were talking, and I was like, the key to all of this is that you can't, when you truly become more energetic, you realize that you can't change the energy that is in front of you. And this is with anything, right? If you're having an emotion, that's an energy, you can't change it. Change happens once you acknowledge and you are courageous enough to be honest with the energy that's arising, right? So if I'm feeling sort of low and introspective and introverted around people, that is the energy that is being expressed. That's the energy that's coming up. So if I can honor and acknowledge that, then I have an opportunity after that to choose if I want to continue to be in that while it's passing through, or trying to move myself into something else. I typically don't try to move myself into anything because I always know that everything's moving, right? But when you don't always like it. It's like, when, if I'm hanging out with a friend and I'm like, oof, doesn't quite feel right. It feels like there's effort, or it feels like there's uncomfortableness or whatever. That can be uncomfortable because you don't necessarily want that. But you're actually feeling the energetic back and forth between you and someone else. This is becoming more energetic. And we are energetic beings in a physical body. And we've been programmed to change things, to make it fit how we want it to look, to make it fit how we want it to feel, to control it. We've been programmed to box things in, right? I mean, the more that you move into a flow state, you just move with whatever's showing up. And if something's showing up in your relationship that you don't like, you move with it. You let it teach you, you let it show you. You become more and more of an observer, you become more and more aware. Because the more that I am allowing the energies to show me what is occurring between me and anybody in my life that I'm hanging out with, the more I can see my own shadow, the more I can recognize my own triggers, the more I can realize what it is that I'm bringing into my life, the more I can realize how energetic I actually am, the more I can realize how I feel very different in the world than other people, the more I will realize how moody I may be, right? The more that we are courageous enough to just feel the interaction, the engagement, the energies, the more we are able to move through this, and it's very fascinating to watch myself trust the energetic world more and more because you can't see it. How do I know what I'm feeling is true? How do I know I'm not making it up, right? This is what you say to yourself when you start becoming more energetic. I'm making this up. I don't know if this is actually what's going on between the two of us. Maybe this is just something, maybe this is a defense mechanism. There must be something wrong with me. I should be acting a certain way. I should be trying to make something work. Anytime that you are efforting in a relationship, you really want to look at that. It's not to say that you don't want to make things work, right? Or negotiate and dissect and dive into the energies. But anytime there is like an effort or a push, right? It just feels tight. It feels um, like there's something off. You really want to pay attention to that, right? There's something to be untangled. And this doesn't mean that you have to necessarily bring this up with people, but you want to observe it. You really want to observe it. And you want to remember that it's energy and that you can't change the energy. And so that's where like the allowance comes in of just allowing. And it's always about you. It's never about the other individual. Never. And the more that we can sit back before we react and respond, right? The more we will realize that this truly is all about me. This is about my own personal world that I'm living in as an energetic human, learning how to navigate all these other energies. And I need to take full 1000% self responsibility for how I'm being, for how I'm feeling, for how I'm showing up. When we don't understand the energetic world, we will blame other people. We will yell at other people. We will get mad at other people. We will tell other people how we want them to be. When truly what may be occurring is an uncomfortableness within yourself of you experiencing energies that you don't want to feel, you know? And it's okay. The more we realize that we are going to continue to just feel and feel and feel and feel and feel, and you don't have to stop that because you can't. That's why we numb ourselves. That's why we have so much addiction. I don't want to face my relationship. I don't want to face the job I hate. I don't want to face myself in the mirror. Right? We don't want to feel what is energetically in front of us. The purest, truest expression of the human journey is energy, emotion, feeling. And so we numb ourselves, we deny it, we ignore it, we pretend, we silence ourselves, we do things that we really wish we had never done, all kinds of stuff. We manipulate people, we lie to people, we deceive because we don't want to truly courageously just feel. And the most courageous moments are when we are able to just be in that we really don't want to be in. The more you can remember that everything moves through you, and I know that I'm saying this all the time, but it's the most important message I think for us right now. The more you remember that everything is movement, even depression, even suicidal thoughts, if you don't grab it as an absolute, there is an observer within you that can watch you go through all of it. All of it. Even when you're severely depressed, even when you're in a relationship that you are like, "Oof, I don't want to be in this anymore." There is always an observer, which is you. There's always an aspect of you watching you. And the more you can move into that observer, the more I'm observing myself, the easier life becomes. The more I'm observing myself, I'm observing myself in every situation. There's always two aspects of me playing all day long. There's the aspect of me that's engaging in the experience of all of it, and there's the aspect of me that's watching me engage constantly. I'm like a scientist. I'm a scientist exploring the energies that I'm feeling. I'm watching myself react and respond to people. I'm watching myself go inward. I'm watching myself silence. I'm watching myself move around the energies that I'm feeling. Because that's how we're designed to be. We're designed to have multiple lenses in this human experience, right? We're designed to see ourselves as multidimensional humans. And a multidimensional human is a human that is not one dimension. You are not emotion. You are not thought. You are not your relationships. You're not your job. You're not your behaviors. And so you start to become a little bit you start to shift out of that linear dimensional field and you become more of an observer. And then you're like, oh, wow, look at how I'm feeling. Look at how I'm responding. Look at how I'm reacting. This version of me that I thought was me this entire time isn't me. Holy shit. Look at all the behaviors and all the ways in which I've tried to control my world. And it's not about how other people, if most people in your life are not going to live this way right now. So what? You're going to blame them? You know? Who cares if people project their shit onto you? You're not a victim. So people are constantly projecting. People are constantly trying to control. People have expectations. People have attachments. People have ideas. People have ways in which they want you to be. So what? So you're gonna respond in a defensive, reactive way? Fuck the world. Everyone's doing this to me. I can't be that way because nobody understands me. Nobody sees me. Nobody hears. So what? If you continue to fight against the fact that you're in an energetic world, you are constantly going to be denying who you are. The more you blame other people for what you are energetically feeling, you are disempowering yourself. You're literally throwing the power of who you are and what you're experiencing and what you're feeling onto other people because they can't understand you. They can't feel you. They can't hear you. They're throwing their shit on you. They're projecting. Who gives a fuck what people are doing to you? No one's doing anything to you. You're starting to feel more. You're starting to understand. You start to hold boundaries. You start to speak your truth more. You start to use your voice from an energetic perspective, which means it's not about you trying to defend yourself. It's just you simply being you. It's just you simply feeling what you're feeling. We break down all barriers and are all kind of like argument and fighting when you're simply just expressing the energy of what you're feeling. It breaks it down. It pulls it apart. It's not easy. There's nothing easy about that. Of just expressing what you are energetically feeling. It is very, very challenging because we're not used to it. But it breaks people's walls down. I'll tell you what doesn't break people's walls down is telling them that they're triggering, telling them that they are throwing their shit on you. Stop throwing your shit on me. Stop trying to trigger me. Stop trying to do this. Stop trying to do that. You're doing this. You can't hear this. You can't do this. You can't show up for me. No. The more you become energetic, the more you realize that you are truly simply only responsible for this world right here. And if you're around someone that you don't like being around, then don't be around them. And if you can't not be around them, then learn how to not react and respond. Learn how to not react and respond, right? Learn how to be in feeling. Learn how to be in uncomfortable feelings. The moment you want to throw your uncomfortable feelings back on someone because they did something to you, stop yourself for a moment. Everything is always for you. So let's say you're in a relationship and they're doing something that you don't like, that's disrespectful. The lesson is for you. There's probably many lessons, but one of the lessons could be, what is it within me that thinks that I deserve this? Another lesson, how can I express what I need without blaming them? Another lesson, how can I just voice what I'm expressing or what I'm feeling, not expressing, how can I just voice what I'm feeling and what I need without blame? Another lesson could be, how can I just hold a firmer boundary with this individual? It's all about us individually taking self-responsibility. This whole world would change if we started doing that. But we don't like to own our shit and we don't like to feel uncomfortables, anything uncomfortable. But start practicing that in your relationships and your friendships and all of it. Start feeling the difference between the reaction and response to wanting to, project back out, and instead own all of it. Own all of it, right? Start saying to yourself, this is mine. This is about me. Even if somebody did something to you, it's still yours because you're going to figure out how you're going to respond from a empowered, like sovereign empowered state. It's not easy, right? It's definitely what I've been challenged with over and over and over again lately is how do I take radical, radical, radical self responsibility for what I'm experiencing, for how I'm showing up, and for what I'm feeling, and really honoring that, right? Really honoring my light, like my fire, honoring my fire, the light of who I am. And it's okay. It's okay to be all of who we are. It's okay to shine really freaking bright. It's okay to make other people uncomfortable. Here's the other thing, you guys. When you stop playing the games that you don't actually feel the energies between you and someone else, so you're actually feeling the energies and you're not pretending and you're not shying away from it and you just show up as you, acknowledging and honoring what's arising, you're allowing yourself there's a fire in that. There's a power in that. It's like, "No, this is who I am. This is what I'm feeling. I'm not gonna shy away. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna hide. No. This is truly how I am feeling around this person. Okay. This is truly what I am feeling right now. Okay." That is a fire that we are learning how to stoke over and over and over again. Every time you're with people that are trying to change you or shift you or convince you or manipulate you, or fuck with your mind, right? Doing anything that they're trying to gaslighting you, whatever it is. Where's your fire? Where's your light? Moving back into wait, no, what I am feeling is real. What I am feeling is true. What I am feeling, I deserve to freaking feel. I deserve it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be feeling it. I deserve to want to step away from this person. I deserve to not want to be with this person right now. I deserve to feel it's okay if I feel uncomfortable. It's okay if this feels like effort. It's okay if it's okay. Truly starting to honor your truest expression with anybody and not ignoring it, denying it, trying to change it, trying to fit in, trying to make somebody else feel better when they're most likely manipulating you. If you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, where you want to get away, where you don't feel good, something feels off, something feels right, most likely the other person could be manipulating energy. They could be doing something a little funky and vice versa. Pay attention when you're trying to manipulate people's energies. What that means is that the person isn't showing up in their truest expression, right? They're not showing up in the truest expression. Pay attention to that. If there's anything you can get from today's message, from today's episode, it is, can you trust yourself more than you ever have before? Can you trust the energies that you're feeling with someone? Trust it. And don't make them wrong or you wrong. Even if you're with somebody and they're manipulating you and you're like, oh my God, this person's truly trying to manipulate me right now. Wow. Okay. It's not about them. It's about how you are experiencing you in the situation. I've had some really interesting experiences the last couple weeks. And it's been fascinating. It's extremely uncomfortable when you're around somebody that you can feel is manipulating you. It's a very weird energy. It's like you're trying to get away from it. There's a feeling of like you're trying to run from it. It's so uncomfortable when you really start to feel like there is energy that is not being discussed and there's an energy that's trying to like come in, move in, or manipulate. Fuck, dude, it's uncomfortable. And so there's this, for me, it's this feeling of like you're trying to like do this. You're trying to move out, like you're trying to run, like a mouse chasing something or something chasing a mouse. Um, oh fuck, it feels uncomfortable. And there's this feeling of like not wanting to look the person in the eyes. Like I've had this with certain people in my life, and it's a very specific energy. It's an energy for me where I don't want to be around them. It feels extremely uncomfortable. You don't wanna look them in the eye. There's something about looking them in the eye where it feels like, there's a power that comes in, or there's like it's like you're trying to protect yourself, so you don't wanna look in the eye. I don't know if you guys have felt this before, but holy shit, dude, it is a freaky fucking feeling. And you can't deny it. You can't ignore that, you guys. You have to pay attention to that. That is true. That is real. That is an energetic exchange. And that's why it is so important for us to honor that. When you find yourself in those situations where literally you cannot look them in the eye and you feel like you're running from them, dude, trust that. And that's where it becomes so important to find your strength, like to pull in your power. Okay? Like, no, I am safe, and it is okay for me to be me. It is okay for me to stand in my light. It is okay for me to feel this extremely uncomfortable around this person. Right? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with me and there's nothing wrong with them. This is just the energy that I feel. Can I acknowledge it? Can I honor it? And not make it a bad thing, but more of just a curiosity. And then you're starting to play the energetic game. You start playing the game. And then you start to realize how important it is to honor what you need, how important it is to honor what you're feeling, because the energy doesn't lie. If you can't look someone in the eye, you got to trust that. It's not that that person is bad. It's not that that person is there's nothing wrong with that person. There is just an energetic exchange that you are not safe in. That's it. When you're safe in an energetic exchange, you're relaxed. You can breathe. Even if you don't agree with the people or you don't like them that much or whatever, there can still be a safety in that exchange, right? And you're just like, it's a different energy. It's just a different energy. It's just so important that you don't call people dark. You don't call people demons. You don't call people these labels. It's strictly energy. That's it. It's just but pay attention. Pay attention. Because then you're going to start to tap into your own fire. This is what it means, you guys. Everyone always talks about like, oh my God, I want to move into new earth. I want to move into 5D. I want to evolve. I want to do all these things. And it's like, okay, then stand as an energetic being in an energetic world. Don't hide from the energetic world that is extremely intense. Don't deny anything that you're feeling. Start to trust yourself more than anyone else. Start to pay attention to the deep programming of how you're going to try to convince yourself to be a certain way because that's how society wants you to be. We are shifting out of those programs. We're shifting out of the I only engage through this programmed logic way. Logic is important. Critical thinking is important. But energy is the first experience always. It's always energy first. And we have been living our lives ignoring it and denying it, except for those of you that have been so empathically aware most of your life that you've gone crazy. We're not designed to be afraid of the energetic world. We're not designed to try to hide from the energetic world, which is this entire world. Everything is energy, right? We're not designed to need to shield ourselves and protect ourselves. We're not designed to need to have to do that. We're not designed to need to have to clean our energies and clean our auras. And we're not designed to have to do that. We are designed to be in a physical body that has an energetic field around them that can walk into any experience. that can walk into any engagement energetically, no matter what that frequency feels like, no matter what that vibration feels like. This is what we're stepping into. The new earth, the new world, the 5D that everybody is so excited about, you do realize that you have to feel everything. You realize that you can't shift the energy that you're feeling. You realize that you have to be honest and courageous in what is showing up. You cannot manipulate and control energy when you start moving into higher states of consciousness. So you have to literally let the energy just show up. You have to honor it. You can't ignore it and deny it. Right? You start dating somebody or you start hanging out with someone and all of a sudden you're feeling something and you're going to try to deny it because you want that so bad. What are you doing? You're denying what's popping up. But we want something so badly, we just ignore it. And then 6 years later, that thing that popped up in the beginning is why you're leaving the relationship. Right? And sometimes when you start to really feel energies, you can really develop into a deep, deep intimacy. The deeper you go with the energies that are being exchanged between you and someone else, the more intimate you become. Right? So you become more intimate with the entire world when you start breaking down the barriers that there is anything other than energy between you and someone else. The whole world changes when you start responding to it from an energetic lens. But you have to clear out a hell of a lot of trauma in order to do this. So if you have a ton of trauma in you, the energetic world is going to trigger you. Let the triggers show you what you need to see so that you can start to feel more safe in the energetic world. So you don't feel like you need to change or shift it. So you don't feel like you need to create behaviors, addictive behaviors, to hide from what is actually just arising. We're not designed to hide from what's arising, what doesn't feel good. It happens. I've had more addictions than I can count because I didn't want to actually feel. I didn't want to, and I didn't want triggers. I didn't want to feel the triggers. I didn't want to feel what was coming up all the time for me. I didn't want to feel the insecurities. I didn't want to feel the abandonment. I didn't want to feel the unworthiness. I didn't want to feel all of it. And these things are going to pop up: the unworthiness, the lack, the fear of being loved unconditionally. All these things are going to pop up over and over again. Guess where? From the outside world, from the external world, in order to show you what needs to just be seen so that you can heal that trauma. See it, feel it, release it. You release it by feeling it. That's it. It can be that simple. It's designed to be that simple. I always say this. It truly is. How do I know? Because it's what I've been doing. It's what I've been doing. And the piece for me that I've been feeling a lot lately is how different I feel now. I feel more different than I ever have with people. I really do. I feel there's really only one person in my life that actually truly understands what it feels like to be me right now. And I'm not saying this like I'm different or special. It's just it's very, very difficult. Um, it's becoming more and more lonely. It's very strange. I'm feeling more and more alone. I'm feeling less and less understood. I'm feeling like I am beating a dead horse with a lot of people. Like, why am I even communicating? Why am I even sharing? Why am I even talking? But I have so much compassion in my heart that I just I know what's happening. But I feel deeply misunderstood. Um, I feel like, yeah, that theme is not going away, you know. And I'm grateful at least that I have, my dear friend that I can talk to because he's going through the exact same thing. And I think a lot of you don't have that. You don't have that. And the more that we become conscious, the more that we wake up out of what we have been in, it becomes uh it becomes very lonely. But here's the thing that I continue to practice is um the juggling act, the balancing act of like, I signed up for this, right? You incarnated to do this. You incarnated to sort of go first, okay? Shift into these new ways of being first. And so I have so much compassion for myself as I'm doing this courageously, and then I also allow myself to be the human that plays in the unconscious. I don't make the unconscious wrong. uh In fact, I enjoy being in more of the unconsciousness with people because it's easy, it's fun. Um, it's almost like, and I'm not saying there's some I don't wanna make this sound like there's something wrong with being unconscious. When I say unconscious, what I mean is that there are people that are simply just living life. They're loving life, they're living life, they're just doing them. And I feel like I am constantly dissecting, diving deeper, going inward more, figuring more out, constantly asking myself, does this feel right? I am like a freaking scientist all day long. Okay. So when I'm with people that are just sort of a little bit more unconscious, meaning just they're just having fun, they're enjoying life. I love that. I devour those people, literally. I love it. When I go to my yoga studio, I'm just like so happy because it's just people that are just freaking living life and I get a break. So there's a juggling act of continuing to show up as who you are becoming over and over again, recognizing that you may feel like I do, where you're like, oh, I am not in this world anymore, but I don't make it wrong. Who the freak do I think I am to make it wrong? I just say, wow, there's a massive difference here. Right? There's a big difference in the way I live my life and these people live my life, their life. So what? Right? It's there's an enjoyment to it. There's an enjoyment to it. But with people that are close in my life, but even that can feel lonely. Even because for me, it's like I play the game, right? So I'm just like having conversations, and I'm playing this game, but deep down, I know that I'm playing a game. I know what I'm doing. I know all of it. So the more you kind of pull yourself out of this like third dimensional field and you start living in a little bit of a different, you're not telling people you're doing this. Like my friends don't realize what's going on inside me every day, all day long, 24/7. They don't realize what I'm thinking and feeling as I'm engaging with them throughout the day. They have no idea. But you start to recognize that you are literally playing a game. You're in something, like a joystick, right? You're in it. So you don't wanna make it wrong. Like if you're in it and you have to go to school or you have to do these things, so what? Okay. That doesn't stop you from continuing to be who you are. It allows the game to just be juicy, right? If you have a job that you don't like, but you're continuing to sort of wake up, become more and more conscious, become more and more energetic, you don't make the job wrong. You're just like, it's just getting juicier. It just gets juicier and juicier and juicier, right? The game just gets more like, oof, what's going to come up next? What am I going to have to navigate next? What am I going to have to figure out or look at or feel next? It becomes objective. It truly becomes objective. We can't ever find ourselves outside of this. We have to play in this. Don't divide it. Don't create a divide of like, this is the way, this is the right way, and this is the wrong way. It's all the juice. It's all the experience, right? And so it's not about like, oh my God, this is not the right way to live, or this is not the right thing that I should be doing. No. You are currently learning how to be more energetic in a very, very dense physical world where you may be doing a lot of very kind of dense stuff, unconscious stuff. So what? So what? Okay. How are you being? How are you reacting? How are you responding in this world? That's what you want to ask yourself. Are you honoring your fire? Are you honoring other people's stuff? Even people that are trying to manipulate you, people that are trying to trigger you, you get caught up in it. I've been finding myself the last couple weeks, like, I'll get triggered by a friend of mine, right? And it's like this friend of mine knows how to kind of dig a little bit. And next thing I know, I'm having this argument around something so stupid, but I'm watching myself and I'm like, I can't believe that I just spent 5 minutes having the most ridiculous argument on the planet that makes no sense. I'm not joking. And I'm talking an argument where I was like irate, angry, like angry, like boiling fire, angry. And I'm like, what am I doing? How could I possibly be getting this upset over some stupid bet that we had, right? Do I beat myself up? Nope. Do I get angry at him or at me? No, I just I watch myself and then I snap out. Oh wow, that was interesting. And then I have to practice like slowing my breathing down. So when you're in something intense and you're arguing and it's getting heavy and it's getting heated, that feeling where you have all of a sudden just been sucked in. What was it about? Oh my god, you guys are gonna laugh. It's ridiculous. We were in the ocean and, there was this young girl with this older man, but it was a very dramatic age difference. And, like, this is very there was this man was, like, in his 60s and this girl was, like, 20, 19. And, like, we both my friend and I both looked over and I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure they're dating." My friend was like, "No, that's her dad." And, I was sarcastic. I was like, "Listen, she's freaking 12 years old. That is crazy what's happening there," you know? Um, and so we had this argument over that being her father or that being, her partner. So my friend eventually went over and was talking to her and got all the details and the information, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, we were both wrong." And I was like, "How are we both wrong?" He's like, "Well, she's actually 23. You said she was 12, but they are dating." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. That was sarcasm. I won the bet." And then we got into it. Like we went like it I got so angry. I got so angry. I lost my shit on the beach trying to get sand off your feet on those little machines that you push and the water comes down and there's people all around. No, 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 no. There was people all around. And here am I, literally like arguing about the fact that when I said 12 years old, that was not literal. And I won the bet. I won the bet. Oh my God, it was insane. So I'm in this argument fighting with him. And then I start to observe that I'm fighting with him over a stupid bet because he won't let me win the bet because I was joking when I said the girl's 12. How many times are you sarcastic? You're like, dude, that chick's like 12 years old. You know she's not really 12. Seriously. Obviously, I never thought she was actually 12 years old. And then he was like, well, yes, you did because she looked like she was 12 years old and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't with you. I cannot with you. I cannot do this. What am I doing? But you get sucked in and then you're in. You're like, I won this motherfucking bet. Give me the win. And so I had to, oh my God, I had to pull myself out of the bet, of the argument. So the way I started pulling myself out was I started recognizing, wait, Laura, you're yelling and there's tons of people around. Like there's families, like people are on vacation and the two of you are yelling about a young woman who is sleeping with an older man. And you were right about it. Like, so I slowed down. I quieted myself. I breathed, right? I was just like, okay, I'm just going to breathe. I'm just going to breathe. I'm just gonna breathe. And then I had to just like force myself to not say anything. I had to force myself to silence, silence. And then it diffused. But it's hard when you are having that energetic exchange and you're like, you just want to go in, you want to defend, you want to make it yourself right, you want to win. Right? I'm like that. I'm like that with certain people. It's like I will fight till the end to be right. It's interesting because I know that um I know that none of it matters, right? But if I feel like I'm right about something with certain people in my life, I will go until the death. I will just be like, absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not. Um, so it's been interesting watching myself practice. This isn't not with most people in my life, but certain people that I'm really comfortable with, I'm really close with. I can have that energy with them. It kind of just depends on the energy of the individual that you're with. I mean, I don't do it with my family. I don't do it with like my best friend. But with this individual, I do it with, and it's just so fascinating to watch that. This is what I mean when you're like, there's certain people in your life that are going to give you opportunities, right? This friend in my life is giving me so many opportunities to practice so many things, right? This is why it is so important to pay attention to how you are showing up. How are you showing up? And how every single friend, every single partner, every single relationship, every single family member is giving you an opportunity for you to decide how you want to be and for you to see all the old patterns and programs that you've always been in that you just go to. And I just ask yourself, do I want to keep being this way? Do I want to keep being this way? And the more you're being shown it, the more you get to practice. The more you see it, the more you get to choose. With this specific person in my life, I judge the hell out of him. So what is it doing for me? It's showing me that I still have a huge amount of judgment that can come up. Okay, big deal. We always judge. We're always going to judge. But if I can practice not judging this one person who I always want to judge, do you have that person, you guys, where you're just like, you kind of just always are judging them? Pay attention. That's a gift. That's practice. Everything is practice for us. At least in my world, for me, in my world, everything is practice. That's how I see my life. That's how I see my world. It's not him triggering me. It's not him trying to get under my skin. It's not him blah 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 doing. No, it's me showing me what I want to see so that I can choose how I want to be in the world. And it's always these little nuggets of like, you're continuing to evolve, Lorie. You're continuing to shift into these higher states of consciousness. Check this out. And you're like, holy fuck, look at what I do. Look at what I do. Look at what I do. Right? Look at how and then it becomes like, oh, I've done this. This is a pattern that I do in my life. Wow. Right? Somebody else comes in and it's like, wow, I say yes when I don't mean yes because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Wow, here it is again. Wow, I should have said no, but I didn't say no because I was feeling into the energies of what it was going to be like, but I didn't trust those energies. So I didn't say no. And now I'm in the energies and it doesn't feel right. We probably should have said no from the get go, but I didn't listen and didn't trust because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. So I'm just going to say yes. How often do you do that? Right? Somebody's like, "Hey, can I come stay with you at your house?" Or, "Hey, you want to go on this trip with me?" Or, "Hey, do you want to go do this or you want to go do that?" You instantly are like, I don't think so. I don't think this is a good idea. Or you don't even recognize it right away because you do the knee jerk reaction of like, yeah, sure, let's go. And then you sit for a moment, you're like, oh wait, something doesn't feel right. Something feels off. Something feels like I shouldn't go. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. But now you're like, I'm in, or you don't want to hurt their feelings. Plus, there's no reason. Here's the other piece, you guys. There doesn't have to be a reason for what you're feeling around someone. There doesn't. It's just energy. It's just energy. They don't have to do anything that you have to justify how you're feeling. It's simply the energy that you're feeling. And so what we do a lot is like, well, there's no reason for me not to want to hang out with this person. There's no reason for me to not want them to come visit. There's no reason. But energetically, what are you feeling? Like, I don't want to. Okay, trust that. This is what we have done our whole lives. We have ignored that because there's no reason for it. So we don't trust the actual truest expression of you and that other individual because we can't physically see it, because we don't have any sort of proof that makes it make sense. right? So we just say, okay. And most of us, if we're actually honest, have lived our lives this way. It's unconscious. You're not even aware that you've been doing it because you can't even feel the energy that you're feeling with the other individual. We have been so unconscious that we don't even know what it's truly like energetically with another person, especially if you've been with them for a very long time. There are patterns and programs that you guys just do, and it's just on repeat like this. Ding, 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 ding. The more you become embodied, the more you start to feel, the more you're going to actually understand the truest expression of you and that other person. And then it's really not going to make sense. And then you're going to start doing shit that you have no reason, like there's no explanation for it other than the energy. And then you're going to start to look crazy. And then people are going to be like, I don't understand. And then they're going to get upset with you. And then they're going to blame you. And then they're going to feel bad. And then all this shit happens when you start living energetically, which is why you want to navigate it so preciously. You don't have to tell people what you are energetically feeling with them. You don't, especially if they are still deeply wounded, if they're still in deep, deep shadow and trauma. If you understand what's going on, you're taking self responsibility for the energies and you're acknowledging and seeing them. You don't have to go and share with everybody what you're feeling. You don't. That's a really, really difficult thing when people are still in deep conscious, unconscious shadow and deep trauma. And you have to gauge that. You have to gauge that, you guys. There are many things that I don't say to people that I feel because I know that it will hurt them or it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. When people start to rise up into higher states of consciousness, there will be people that you'll be able to more and more. There are certain people in my life that I can express the absolute purest energetic exchange because I know they're capable of actually hearing it and receiving it, but most people can't. Most people there's still a huge amount of shadow and trauma, and they're still working from um, uh, aspects of unconsciousness. If you're continuing to still blame people, right? And you can't take radical self responsibility for what you're experiencing and feeling. If you have people in your life that can't take radical self responsibility for what they're feeling and what they're thinking, you want to be very careful expressing what you're thinking and feeling around them. Okay. Being in your fire and me being who I am does not mean that I need to go shout it to the rooftops. Me speaking my truth doesn't mean that I have to go and speak my truth to everyone. It means that I hold it. It means that I know it. It means that it's mine. It means that I be it in my day. I stand in a humble power, knowing who I am. And I don't have to go and shout it to the rooftops, express it to every single person, let everybody know what I'm thinking and feeling between us. You don't have to do that because that's probably more detrimental than anything right now. People are going through so much. People are seriously just trying to survive. People are becoming conscious, which means people are beginning to feel. And the more you feel, the more uncomfortable you're going to be. And if you're beginning to feel for the first, and I'm talking about really feeling, I'm talking about like feeling all day long, everything that you don't want to feel. You're starting to get to know yourself. That's what's happening. You're becoming familiar with you. You're starting to reintroduce yourself to you. Like, oh, Lorie, do you remember that this is what you do? Do you remember that this is how you feel about yourself? Do you remember that you've always been able to read people's minds and you've always been able to read energy and now you're starting to trust yourself again and not silence it? You're coming back home to you. You're becoming sovereign. You're becoming empowered. And you don't have to make people wrong or prove it in order to be able to be it. But you do have to honor it. You do have to honor what you're feeling. You have to honor what's you. And for me, I am recognizing that I'm becoming more and more, uh, I'm feeling more and more separate from the world, even though I'm in the world. I'm realizing more and more just how different it is the life I live, and how it's a very, for me, it's a very inward journey. I do not share with most people in my life what I'm experiencing when I'm sitting with them. I don't. I don't typically share with people, most people in my life, what my internal world is doing as I'm hanging out with them. So it can feel very lonely. It can feel like you are the only one in the world navigating this internal world, but you're not alone. Like, there's so many of us that are literally learning this new internal world. It's like you're going inward and unraveling this magical, mysterious world inside of you with all these universes. And when you show up out into the external world, nobody else is there with you. Like, is anybody else seeing the universes that I'm seeing? Is anybody else? And you're like, holy fuck, they're not. The key again is not to blame them or get upset with them or tell them they're wrong or they're unconscious or all the bullshit labels that we do. They're doing this to me. They're on they don't see their shadow and their trauma, so this is their problem. No. Just keep exploring your internal world, all the universes, all the shadow, all the trauma, all the stuff that's happening to you. Remember that everything's moving. Everything's moving through you. Everything. I think that's one of the reasons that my guides have been having me sit by the ocean for 3 fucking weeks, excuse my language. I've been here for almost 3 weeks, and I'm finally leaving on Friday because it's allowing me to truly, truly, truly anchor in through the ocean, through the power of water, the power of the ocean every night, letting everything just move through you. Because the moment I get into the water and let that movement move me, I shift. I shift. So how can I allow everything to move through me without the need of going and sitting in the ocean to let me shift? We're designed to constantly shift. We're designed to constantly go up and down. We're designed to be high and then low, good and then bad, positive and negative. That's the polarity of this universe. Not this universe. That's the polarity of this third dimensional field. If you think that when you move into higher states of consciousness, you're just going to flatline it, not for a very long time. The key to moving into higher states, the key to this evolution in consciousness is that you allow yourself to constantly shift without trying to control and change it. If you simply practiced that, your life would shift immediately. I'm telling you, if you simply practiced allowing yourself to let everything be felt, so everything is moving through you, you're just feeling it, and you are not judging it, you found a key. You found a code. It's a code. It's truly is. Because when we start moving into these higher states of consciousness, we start becoming more energetic. When you start to become more energetic, you start to feel more and more and more. When you start to feel more and more and more, you cannot control any of it. When you start to not be able to control things, you start to realize that everything is designed to just move. The uncomfortable and the comfortable. I've said this so many times, and it is such a great analogy. You never try to shift joy out of you. You never try to control happiness and peace when you're feeling it. But when you feel uncomfortable stuff, that's when you want to control it. That's when you want to shift it. That's when you want to start to change the energy. But when you feel energies as such as joy or peace or love, you're not trying to change it because it feels good. So you're allowing it to move through you. Start practicing allowing every energy to move through you the way you do with the good positive ones, and you'll find yourself in flow. and you'll allow yourself to look moody to people. You'll allow your friends to say, "Oh my god, you can't ever make up your mind. Oh my god, you can't this, you can't that." So what? When you start to become energetic, you can't fucking make up your mind for a really long time. You are going back and forth, up and down, all over the place. That's the quantum field until you get to a place where you're just not making decisions until the moment of. So if you're somebody like myself that is always trying to figure out what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, and everybody's telling you that that you just can't make up your mind, that you go you say one thing and then you say another, welcome to learning how to be in a quantum field, right? When you start to practice being in present moment, it's not easy because you try to navigate it, you try to make plans, you try to figure things out, but you don't know until the moment of what you're truly going to feel like. So it's a very difficult way of living. And so you practice it. Don't let people tell you who you are. Don't let people make you feel bad for the fact that you're evolving into higher states of consciousness and they don't understand it. Don't let people's judgments of what you're doing right now and what you're experiencing and what you're feeling quiet you, silence you, or make you feel like there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are literally simply energetically moving into higher states of consciousness. You've never done it before in this type of physical body, and the way that you're doing it, and the speed at which you're doing it. And most people are not going to understand it because they're not doing it yet the way you are. So just pay attention to you. Just be you, do you. You know, there you go. Yeah, higher states of consciousness. It's a funny term because there is no such thing as higher, right? So basically, what it is uh, the speed at which energy is spinning increases. So when you are experiencing energies that are spinning slower, it moves into a lower state of being. When light or energy speeds up, it spins faster, it moves into higher states of consciousness. So it's like the only terms that we have to describe states of being, states of consciousness, which is simply energy. A state of consciousness is you experiencing energy. That's it. And so are you experiencing energies from a faster speed or a slower speed? Slower speed is going to be denser, heavier, more duality, more polarity, more right, wrong, good, bad, judgments, attachments, expectations, disempowerment, control, manipulation. Those are energies or consciousnesses that are spinning in a lower spin. So it's a lower frequency. It's simply physics. Light spins. The spinning of a light gives it its experience. So if you slow energy or light down, it becomes physical. You start to see it. It's dense. It's lower, quote unquote, lower. When you speed energy up, it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter. You can't see it. You eventually can't see that. And so different speeds of energy, different speeds of light feel different. It's all based on frequency. And simply frequency is simply the spinning of light. It is that simple. And so, yeah, we have these terms that we use, higher and lower. It's not better than. See, this is the problem with humans. They are so linear. It's like you say a word and it's like that means that you are dividing and you're saying something is higher and you're going higher up. No, it's just the term that we use because we're in a third dimensional world and we need words to describe energy, which is extremely difficult. So if you think about what you are going through, you are literally just shifting the speed of light and energy around you. And when you do that, right, you start to experience things differently. That's it. You start to see things differently. You start to feel differently in your body. Maybe your body starts to crave things differently. So anytime you have an emotion that comes in and it doesn't feel good, just imagine it is spinning slower. Fear spins slow. Love spins faster. So when you experience it, you're literally having an engagement with an energy. That's it. You're engaging with an energy. And based on the frequency of that energetic experience, you're going to feel it a certain way. Anger is an energy, and it's felt in a slower frequency. It's heavier. It stays longer, it feels like. When you think about I gotta go, but think about when you feel joy. When you're feeling joy, it feels light. It's moving fast. It's going fast through your body. It doesn't stick. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel restrictive. Why? Because it's spinning faster. You experience joy from a person, it goes right through your body, right? So you're like, oh my God, this feels so amazing. It's just flowing. It's just flowing. But all of a sudden, you feel rage or anger, right? You have fear. It's a slower frequency. So then it comes in and it's like, this doesn't feel good. I do not like this. Whatever this energy is, no, thank you. Namaste, but get the hell out of my body. And then we judge it. And then we attach to it. Then we make stories about it. Then we try to figure out how to change it. We try to control it. Or we just ignore it and pretend like it's not there and that we're not feeling it and that we're these like enlightened beings that don't feel anger and rage or all the other things, right? We have to move into positive vibrations, positive frequencies, high vibe, all that bullshit. No, you're feeling a frequency of energy that is naturally designed to spin this way. And when it moves into your body, guess what? It doesn't feel so great. Can you start to use that lens? Start to use the lens of everything's energy. Try it. Start to experience people as energetic exchanges back and forth. What's it feel like? When you sit down with someone, what does it feel like? It's not about the other person doing anything. It's just about you experiencing the energetic exchange. Anger isn't doing anything to you. Depression isn't doing anything to you. You're just simply experiencing the expression of it through your body. You're feeling it. That's why it's so important to not attach to the fact that you are any of it. How could you possibly be these emotions? They're separate from you. It's crazy. But when we are in it, we believe to be it. When it's moving through us, we believe to be it. Because it's inside our bodies. How if you didn't remember how this whole world works, how this whole freaking quantum field works, of course you're going to think that you're anger or that you're sadness or that you're these things because it's inside your body. You don't realize that it entered inside your body based on something external. You don't remember that part because you can't see it and you forgot what you knew when you incarnated. So now you're in the body walking around feeling everything and you think that you are it. You think you're your trauma, you think you're your patterns, you think you're the behaviors, you think that you're the relationships, you think that you're all the shit that you're none of. You think you're the unworthiness, you think that you're the limiting beliefs, you think you're all this bullshit that you're none of. That's why becoming the observer is so important, which means that you have to feel, which means that you have to see, which means that you then get to choose. But if you are continuing to associate yourself as everything that you have experienced this entire lifetime, you forgot who you are. You're none of it. Everyone that always was like, but I don't believe that I can do this, but I don't believe that I'm worthy of this. And I have these too, right? I don't believe that I'm worthy of certain things. I still feel limiting beliefs around this. I feel insecure around that. The moment I feel it and it's deep, it's really, really strong. Like I truly do not believe certain things about myself. I have to get it out. I have to talk it out or I have to write it out because they can be so powerful. They're so powerful. They convince you that you are them. So potent. You gotta pull it out of you and look at it. You gotta write it down. You gotta speak it to somebody. You gotta get it out. If you have potent, powerful, strong beliefs about yourself that are holding you back, get those things out because they're not you. You gotta keep seeing it. You gotta keep looking at it. You have to keep bringing it up because they're so ingrained in us that if we every time that limiting belief comes up, you gotta come out and look at it. "Oh, look at this is what I'm thinking. Oh my god, this is what I'm feeling." That's why feeling everything is so important because it's showing you where you are still blocked. It's showing you where you're still blocked. Where are you still blocked? And what are you blocked from? Your highest potential. What you've created for yourself. What you've created for yourself in this lifetime is being blocked by all of the deep, deep programming and patterns that you've believed yourself to be. Every time I feel deep unworthiness, like I suck, I can't do this, which happens more often than I would like, I have to talk it out. I do not ignore it. I have to talk it out to somebody. I have to journal about it every time it comes up. The last thing I do is ignore it. The last thing I do is try to change it or fix it or try to deny it. The moment it comes in of like, Lorie, you suck. You're not going to be successful. No one's going to listen to you. You're not making a difference. Whatever it is, I get it out. I'll call my mom or I'll text my mom, be like, "Hey, can you remind me once again, like that I'm all good, that everything's good, that I'm going to be okay?" I literally have to do this. Remind me that I'm going to be okay. Remind me that what I'm thinking right now is not true. Remind me that everything's okay. Remind me where I'm going in my life. Please, God, remind me. I have to do that more often than I want to. You should ask my mom. Like if she came on, she'd be like, "Yep, I'm constantly reminding her." So we have to let these things be felt. We have to observe it. Because it's not true. So if you still believe these stupid limiting beliefs about yourself that you are allowing to stop you, then you're going to continue to perpetuate the whole entire previous and lifetime that you've been living that has kept you in suffering, struggle, lack, victimhood, limitation, etc. Every single thing that is popping up for you right now is allowing you to see what is holding you back from stepping into whatever is next. Even if it's as simple as how are you going to treat people? You'll constantly be shown little ways in which you're treating people. So you wanna really look at those limiting beliefs right now. Get it out. Because the more you get it out, the more you realize, "Okay, it's not me. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me." Get it out. Alright. I should bring my mom on. She would love it, but she doesn't really know how to jump on. She would have no idea how to do it. Um Yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for being with me again. Episode 9 of Untangled. I love you so much. If you're in my online community, my Patreon online community, Evolve, we're going to be doing a live Q&A in 45 minutes. So I'm really excited about that, spending about 90 minutes with you guys, answering all of your questions. If you want to join us, the link is right down below. Just click the online community Evolve, and you can jump on live with us, ask questions. It's a really powerful live event that I do at the end of each month, a Q&A. And other than that, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, keep shining your light, keep letting that fire within you burn. Be you, be all of you as often as you can. Be okay with the fact that you may just feel a tad bit different than everybody else in your life right now, and you may continue to, and that's okay. Pass this video on to people that may need to hear it. Spread it around if it resonates with you. And I will see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m., Untangled episode 10. I love you.